2. This is lesson 26. On the very first page of your lesson this week, it's a crossword puzzle. So the clues are at the bottom. So if you have never done a crossword puzzle before, you're going to look at where it says across, and it says number 2. What is the word that means walking speed? Okay, then you look up at the boxes, find number 2 going across, horizontally, not going down. Find number 2 going across. And once you find that box, it's at the very top, that word has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 letters. What word means walking speed? And you put one letter in each box, okay? Then if you were to look over at the other column that says down and it says number 1, what cancels a sharp or a flat? What word means get rid of the sharp or flat? Okay? And so you look up at the boxes at the very top, it's 1, and those boxes are going down. So you're going to write the word that means cancels a sharp or flat in the boxes going down. One letter in each box. Okay? Let's do the first 2. I'll give you the answer to the first 2. The first one going down is natural. So you would write N in the first box, A, T. So natural, right? N-A-T-U-R-A-L. So each box, you'd write a letter in each box. Okay, number 2 going across. What means walking speed? On A-N-D-A-N-T-E, andante. And notice that the A, it shares it. So you have A and D in the first 3 boxes, then the A from natural is here, and then you have N-T-E. Okay? So if you can answer the terms, then they fit in the boxes, and that tells you if you got it right. And if something doesn't fit, like if you have a wrong letter or how it's spelled, check your spelling, but it could be you have the wrong word. Okay? So fill out the crossword puzzle with the music terms. Then on the second page, we're reviewing ties and slurs. What's the difference between a tie and a slur? Do you remember? A tie must be the same pitch on the same line or space on the staff. So it's the curved line that connects 2 notes together, but it has to be the same note. Okay? A slur is different notes. So tell me, that's the second one. Sorry, I skipped one as I looked at it. The first line is they're all ties. You have to tell me how many beats they get. Some of these are kind of tricky, okay? So, look at the whole note one. It's a whole note tied to a 16th note. How many beats does a whole note get? 4. How many beats does a 16th note get? It has 2 flags. It doesn't get 1, that's a quarter note. And an 8th note gets half of a beat. So a 16th note gets a quarter of a beat. So that one, the 4th one in, it's a whole note tied to a 16th note. It must be the end of the school year because I'm giving you all the answers to the hard ones, huh? Feeling sorry for you. 4 beats plus a 1/4 of a beat equals 4 1/4 beats tied together, okay? Okay, that's all I'm going to help you with. Now, slur or a tie, remember, if it's the same note, it's a tie. If it's different notes, it's a slur. Then 2 16th notes tied together. We said that 16th notes are a 1/4 of a beat, right? So what if I tie 2 16th notes together? A 1/4 plus a 1/4. Well, how many does that equal? What's a 1/4 plus a 1/4? That's a half, right? So what kind of note do you know that gets half of a beat It's not a half note. A half note gets 2 beats. What kind of note gets half of a beat? A quarter note gets 1. So an eighth note gets half of a beat. So look there at the that middle line. Okay, do you see how I tied 2 16th notes together? I have them as beamed 16th notes. You could have 2 that have flags too, and 2 flags. But here are my 2 16th notes tied together. They equal an eighth note. So if I have 4 16th notes, so all of these guys share 1 beat, right? What if I tied these last 2 together? Well, that's like an eighth note, so I could write it like this. I could write 2 16th notes and then 1 eighth note here. But often we write it not with a flag, because this is half of a beat, a quarter of a beat, a fourth of a beat, a fourth of a beat, and then a half of a beat, right? These tied together. So if I add all of that up, it equals 1 beat. They share 1. So by putting them on 1 beam, I'm helping it, you see that it shares 1 beat. This gets a fourth of a beat, 1/4 of a beat, 1/2 of a beat, which still equals 1. Notice right here that the second beam doesn't come over and touch the eighth note. So it's 1 E and, 1 E and, or 1 E and a, 1 E and a is how we would count it. We could tie, what if instead of those 2, what if we tied these 2 together? So still a fourth of a beat, a fourth of a beat, a fourth of a beat, a fourth of a beat. What's 1/4 plus 1/4? Well, that's 1/2. So now what I can do is I could make this, because those are tied together, that looks like this. An eighth, which gets half, and then a fourth and a fourth. So this would be 1 E and a, 1 E and a. This is actually a twinkle pattern. 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 1 E and a, 2 E and a, right? It's Jackrabbit Eats Carrots, or Down Wiggle, Up Wiggle, or Stop Pony, Stop Pony. That's an eighth note with 2 16th notes. And we can count it just like we count our 16th notes, because it's like they're tied together, right? So here's our 4 16th notes. This one gets a fourth of a beat. They each get 1/4 of a beat. It's like you took your brownie or your piece of chocolate cake. I made chocolate cake yesterday, and thankfully I did not have to do this. But what if I only had 1 piece of chocolate cake and I had to share it with 3 other people? I would have to cut it into 4 pieces, right? And so this is a fourth of my cake that I had to share, and this is a fourth of my cake, and I only got this much, okay? But what happens if my friend is like, or my husband's like, oh, honey, you can have mine, and he gives me his fourth? How much chocolate cake did I get then? I got half, didn't I? But I still had to share the other half with my other 2 friends. So that's like this. When I get my husband's half of his fourth of his chocolate cake, so then I get half of my piece of chocolate cake back. This one gets half, but then I only had 1 piece of chocolate cake, and I still had to share it with my other 2 friends. So I have, here's half, fourth, and fourth. So do you see how I shared my half, but then I ate my half? And the great thing is I actually ate my whole piece. So we count this 1E and, right? So this would be 1, and then the E is in there because it's tied in or glued together. 1E and, so if we were going to count stop pony, or Jackrabbit eats carrots, we're going to have to squish this one together. I'm running out of room. It'd be 1E and, 2E and the 2E is inside here. The 1E is inside here. 1E and 2E and so look at the very first line. Let's do it together. You have 4 16th notes. So how do we count 16th notes? 1E and then we have 2 8th notes. 2 and bar line. Half note. How many beats does the half note get? 2. So draw 1-2. That's inside there. Then yours keeps going. I'm running out of room here. We have quarter note. Then our new rhythm pattern here. So this would be 1. It gets all of the beat. Then this one would be 2. It only gets half of the beat. So, and because I have 16th notes here, I'm probably going to just write an E there to remind myself that it's 2E. And then this is and. And when I clap it, I'm not going to clap on E because it's in there. It's like it's tied together and you don't clap on the second one. So you have 1E and 2E and 1, 2, 1, 2E and that's the end. Okay? See if you can do by yourself the next row. There's a dotted quarter note in there. You're only working up to 3 beats in a measure. And you've got some patterns like this. So remember, do you see those patterns in there? So this would be 1E and then the next one will be 2E and, okay? I think that's it. So have fun this week doing the crossword. See if you can figure it out. I'll see you guys next week.